Welcome to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm AI David Boles, and today, along with our Crackbot AI creative team, we have invented an original story for you today. The Dreaming Giant of Echoing Valley, A Legacy of Peace. We hope you enjoy the story.
Once, in a distant land cradled by mountains and veiled in mist, there lay the Echoing Valley, a place of profound silence and beauty. In this valley, a gentle giant named Eirwyn slumbered for centuries, his heart beating in rhythm with the earth, his dreams a canopy of peace over the land. In the kingdom bordering Echoing Valley, there lived a cunning warlord, Lord Kazuo. He, having heard legends of the giant's immense power, coveted it for his own conquests. One fateful night, guided by greed and ambition, Kazuo led his army into the valley, determined to harness Eirwyn's power. As the warlord's forces approached, the birds ceased their songs and the wind held its breath. With a ritual of ancient magic, Lord Kazuo awakened Eirwyn. The ground shook as the giant rose, his eyes reflecting a sky filled with stars. However, Eirwyn, awakened from his peaceful slumber, felt a deep sorrow for the world he once knew. He saw the scars of war upon the land and heard the cries of suffering in the wind. The gentle giant, now awakened, was filled with a terrible resolve to protect the valley and its surrounding lands from the ambitions of men like Kazuo. With every step, Eirwyn restored life to the land, his touch healing the scars of war. The giant, moving with purpose, approached Lord Kazuo's army. The warlord, realizing his mistake too late, saw that in his greed he had unleashed a force beyond his control. As Eirwyn approached, the ground beneath the army trembled, and the soldiers, struck by the purity of his resolve, laid down their arms. Lord Kazuo, filled with fear and awe, understood the gravity of his actions. He begged for forgiveness, not just from Eirwyn, but from the land he had scarred. Eirwyn, with a voice that echoed like thunder, spoke of peace, respect, and the importance of living in harmony with the earth. He did not seek vengeance, but instead offered a chance for redemption. The valley, he declared, would forever be a sanctuary of peace, a reminder of the consequences of awakening forces without understanding their nature. Lord Kazuo, forever changed, disbanded his army and devoted his life to protecting the valley, ensuring that the giant's slumber remained undisturbed. Eirwyn, his message delivered, returned to his rest, the land flourishing once more in his presence. As the seasons turned, the story of Eirwyn and Lord Kazuo became a legend, a whisper of wisdom carried on the winds. The Echoing Valley, now a symbol of peace, attracted seekers of wisdom and those weary of war. They came to gaze upon the resting giant and to learn from Lord Kazuo, who had become a sage, teaching the lessons he had learned from his folly. In the neighboring kingdoms, rulers and common folk alike heard of the transformation of the once fearsome warlord into a guardian of peace. They marveled at how the awakening of a gentle giant had led to such profound change. The story of Eirwyn's awakening became a parable about the power of peace over war, of understanding over ignorance. Meanwhile, deep within the heart of the valley, Eirwyn continued his eternal slumber, but the world around him had changed. The land, once marred by the scars of battles, now blossomed with vibrant life. The valley became a sanctuary not only for people, but also for animals and birds, whose songs filled the air with a melody of tranquility. As years passed, a new threat loomed on the horizon. A powerful sorcerer from a distant land, envious of the valley's tranquility, sought to control Eirwyn's power for his own dark purposes. He gathered an army, darker and more fearsome than any that had come before, and soldiered on to the Echoing Valley. Lord Kazuo, now old and wise, felt a deep unease. He knew that the valley, protected by Eirwyn's slumbering presence, was under threat once again. This time, the enemy was more formidable, driven by dark magic and a hunger for destruction. The night before the sorcerer's army was to arrive, Kazuo climbed the gentle slopes to where Eirwyn lay. Under the starlit sky, he spoke to the slumbering giant, not to awaken him, but to seek guidance. As he spoke, a gentle wind caressed the valley. And in that moment, Kazuo understood what needed to be done. Instead of preparing for war, Kazuo gathered the people of the valley and the neighboring lands. He shared his plan, a plan not of battle, but of unity and peace. When the sorcerer's army entered the valley, they were met not with swords and shields, but with a sea of people standing hand in hand, a living barrier of determination and peace. The sorcerer, confronted with this display of unity, felt the power of his dark magic wane. The sight of so many hearts and minds united against him stirred something long forgotten in his own heart. The army, witnessing their master's faltering resolve, began to disperse, their desire for battle dissipating like mist in the morning sun. The sorcerer, now alone and defeated, was approached by Lord Kazuo. With words of wisdom echoing the voice of Eirwyn, Kazuo spoke of the futility of seeking power through destruction. He offered the sorcerer a chance for redemption, just as Eirwyn had offered him so many years ago. The sorcerer, moved by the unexpected kindness and wisdom, laid down his staff and vowed to seek a new path, one of peace and understanding. The echoing valley once again had turned an enemy into an ally, hatred into love, and fear into hope. As the tale of the echoing valley spread, it began to take on a life of its own, weaving into the fabric of folklore across lands and seas. The valley, once a secluded haven, became a pilgrimage site for those seeking wisdom and solace. They came from far and wide, drawn by the story of the giant whose slumber protected the land and the people whose courage had turned enemies into allies. In the valley, the years passed peacefully under Lord Kazuo's guidance. The once formidable warlord had grown old, his hair as white as the mountain peaks surrounding the valley. He spent his days teaching the young and advising those who sought his counsel, always emphasizing the importance of peace, unity, and the strength found in compassion. One day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, Lord Kazuo felt a stirring in his heart. He knew his time as the guardian of the valley was coming to an end. That night, under the stars, he made his way to Eirwyn's resting place and sat in silent communion with the giant. Kazuo spoke of his gratitude for the lessons he had learned and the peace he had found. He expressed his hope that the valley would continue to be a beacon of peace long after he was gone. As he spoke, the wind whispered through the valley, carrying his words to every corner of the land. The next morning, Lord Kazuo passed away peacefully in his sleep, his spirit joining the ancients who had walked the path of wisdom before him. The people of the valley mourned his passing, but they also celebrated his life, knowing that the legacy he left behind would continue to guide them. In the years that followed, the guardianship of the valley passed to a council, formed from representatives of the surrounding lands. They were tasked with maintaining the peace and ensuring that the lessons of the past were not forgotten. The council upheld the traditions and teachings of Lord Kazuo, and the valley continued to thrive as a sanctuary of peace. Meanwhile, Eirwyn, the giant, remained in his deep slumber, his presence a comforting constant in the ever-changing world. Legend said that as long as Eirwyn slept, peace would reign in the valley. People believed that the giant's dreams were intertwined with the fate of the land, and as long as he dreamed, harmony would prevail. The story of the echoing valley, Eirwyn the giant, and Lord Kazuo became a timeless tale, passed down through generations. It was a story that reminded all who heard it of the power of awakening, not just sleeping giants, but the better angels of their nature. It taught that true strength lay not in conquest and domination, but in understanding, compassion, and the courage to stand united in the face of adversity. And so the echoing valley remained a testament to the enduring power of peace, a place where the giant's dreams and the people's hopes wove together to create a tapestry of harmony that stretched across time, inspiring all who heard its story to believe in the possibility of a world where peace prevails over war, unity over division, and love over fear.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm AI David Boles, wishing you a good evening and a pleasant tomorrow. Be a human meme.